Okay, so as you can tell, this conference is being recorded for future reference of folks that couldn't be on the webinar today. This is Jen Gursky with the Montana Community Foundation, and if you can hear me and can see the slide, can you hear me? You are in the right place.
But if you want to show me hi.
Do our phones have a way to plug in headphones? I see a headset button. Oh, it has to be a phone one. Okay. All right. Didn't have to listen to this webinar on social media.
Hi, welcome to the Social Media 101 webinar with Montana Community Foundation. We're still about 6 minutes setting out. This is Jen Gursky. If you can hear me and can see the slide, can you hear me? You are in the right spot and are hooked up accordingly. I want to remind folks that there is a question bar on the left of your screen. I think for most of you, it might be on the right because it's a different pop-out window. But please, through the course of the webinar, feel free to hop on that question bar if you have questions. I will be facilitating the webinar today. We have two guests, wonderful, incredible talent here with us today to talk about Facebook basics, both the tools of the trade and the tools of creating your content so people will hear you. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm just going to flip to this housekeeping slide here. Again, this call is being recorded. It's a huge help to us if you mute your line. *6 to mute your line, *7 to unmute your line. There will be 3 points in today's webinar where you can ask questions via voice just right over the phone line. There's also a screen it's a pop-out chat screen that you can ask questions and I can see. So we have about 5 minutes left here, and we'll get started, and then I'll introduce folks that will be doing our training today. Again, if you can see the "Can you hear me" slide and can actually hear me, then your technology is set up perfectly, and I want to remind folks that this webinar is being recorded. Hi, this is Jen Gursky with the Montana Community Foundation. We're about 4 minutes away from getting started. Great participation on the call today. It looks like we have about 20 folks already here. We're going to wait for the other 20 or 30 so that signed up. Yeah, I'll just talk about Give Local a little bit. We don't have any awesome background music for our webinars, so I want to remind folks that the call is being recorded. If you can see the slide, "Can you hear me?" and you can hear me, then you have both of your tech pieces set up appropriately and will be able to engage with us during the course of the webinar. There is a pop-out screen on your screen if you are in the slide component of the webinar where you can ask questions. I'm going to ask that you all mute your lines. It's *6 to mute, *7 to unmute. Go ahead and just put that a post-it note. I'll remind you, though, we have 3 question and answer times during the call today that you'll be able to vocalize questions. There's also, again, the pop-out screen, as I mentioned, that during the presentation, each one of our presenters have. If you have questions, go ahead and pop in a line, and I will facilitate those questions. Today's content is about social media, specifically around Facebook, and how to utilize that for your Montana Gives campaign. We're going to go over the tools of the trade, the technical components, how to build content, And then later on talking about how to build your messaging in your content so people hear you, you interact, etc. Montana Gives is a 24-hour, as most of you know, is a 24-hour fundraising event. We have 12 communities on board in Montana, which is very exciting. Last year we had 4 to 6 communities participating. Last year we raised for Montana over $640,000, and I know that this year our communities can top that at $1 million. And I think we're really on the road to success there. Thanks for being on the call today. This is an online platform giving event. And so social media is going to play a crucial role in your communications plan. We're 25 days out from the event today and really excited. There seems to be a lot of buzz. If you haven't, I might do some reminders from our previous webinars. If you haven't had an opportunity to send a press release to your paper, conveners, if you haven't had the opportunity to meet with the editorial board of your local community papers, today is a great day to reach out. You're 25 days out, intensely timely. You can do a promo piece and then a day of piece. I encourage you to chat with your local reporters and your editorial boards with how you can get the word out for your community. Again, this is Jen Gursky, and I'm talking because we don't have awesome background music. So I want folks to be able to know that they're in the right spot. If you can hear me and you can see that slide, can you hear me? You're in the right place and your technology is working. This webinar is being recorded, so go ahead and press *6 to mute your line. There will be 3 sections in today's webinar where you can ask questions. And to unmute your line, go ahead and pull out a Post-it note, write this down. To unmute is *7. So you can vocalize some of your questions to our presenters today during those 3 spots. There's also a pull-out chat box that you should be able to see in front of your screen today where you can type questions, and our facilitator, or our presenters today, will be able to answer your questions. Okay. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and get started here. Housekeeping. Again, press *6 to mute your line, *7 to unmute your line. We will have 3 question and answer periods on the call. Please mute your line because this call is being recorded. There is, again, the box where you can ask questions during the time where your line is muted, and we will get to those during the question and answer time. Again, Montana open meeting and regulations. I want you all to please be aware that this call is being recorded. Well, my name is Jen Gursky, and I'm really excited in a series of webinars today to introduce our content presenters. Dana Freedy is the Communications and Events Coordinator at Helena Food Share. She does all the social media and marketing and events coordination at Helena Food Share. We went and popped up a picture of her. So that's Dana. We also have the presenter, Katie Gallagher, today. Katie is with the United Way of Lewis and Clark area. She's the marketing specialist, and they are going to be your gurus today as we navigate Facebook and social media campaigns for the Montana Gives. And then again, from feedback of our first couple of webinars, there's a picture of me, the voice behind your phone. I am the person that you're emailing about your registrations, and if you have any glitches, that's me. I wanted to go over just a couple of basic things about Montana Gives. For some of you, this Montana Gives webinar is your first webinar. So Montana Gives is a statewide event led by the Montana Community Foundation and hosted by your local community convener. A community convener could be a local community foundation, or it's maybe a local nonprofit that has decided that the local Montana Gives program is really important and has decided to bring it to your community. Montana Gives Day is Tuesday, May 3rd. We are 25 days away. And Montana Gives Day is a day to celebrate giving. It really encourages that, you know, we don't have to have the name Bill Gates or Rockefeller to be a philanthropist, but we can be a philanthropist at any level. Every donation on montanagives.org is eligible for incentive prize funds, and it is a charitable contribution. I want to remind you that it's May 3rd, 25 days away, and it's a 24-hour period. Montana Community Foundation entered into a relationship with many communities around Montana after those 4 communities in Montana ran a Give Local program and decided to bring it to Montana for communities that might not otherwise have the capacity or the ability to bring a program like this to your community, which means we built relationships with community conveners. A community convener is often a local community foundation or a nonprofit leading the effort in your town. So if you are having communications like in the Bitterroot, it is the Bitterroot Nonprofit Partnership. In Great Falls, it's the United Way of Cascade County and Great Falls Community Foundation. In Laurel, it's the Laurel Montana Community Foundation, Anaconda Community Foundation, and so on. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get into today's content.
Excuse me, Tom. This actually isn't a Facebook webinar that's
Okay, and Dana's going to go ahead and do the tools of the trade.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're really excited to be here and to be able to present. Today, I'm going to be covering a little bit of information that's kind of going to give you some background on Facebook. And then what's going to happen is Katie's going to jump in and show you how to execute on a lot of these things and to play them to your advantage. So right now, we're going to go through some topics, including why Facebook is more than a post. We're going to talk about hashtags. We're going to talk about Facebook ads and page promotions, creating content that'll be seen and how to really play to that, and how to build a message for your audience. So I'm going to cover Facebook pages versus groups. We're going to talk a little bit about Facebook algorithms. It's kind of a hot topic right now. Again, we're going to cover hashtags, creating Facebook ads and page promotions, and checking your page insights. So there's a lot of debate right now about the benefits of Facebook groups versus pages. Facebook pages actually enable you to have an official, authentic presence on Facebook, and it enables you to actually have really be the entity behind your page. These are really important because they promote interaction between your organization and your audience. That's the goal. Social media is all about engagement and interaction. So this is really something that you want to do because it keeps you official and promotes that interaction. Facebook groups, on the other hand, are really designed to be communication tools. So there is a time and a place for them, but they're more to facilitate group communication. So it's really a great tool if you have to communicate with a specific group. But you don't actually get to be the presence behind the group. So it's a little bit more difficult and tricky. If you want to interact with a group of select volunteers, it can be a really great way to go ahead and facilitate the conversation there because you can actually control that. Group members either have to be invited to join the group or they have to request membership. It's a lot more exclusive that way, and so it's not promoting that open interaction that a page provides. But again, it can be really, really useful if you need to go ahead and communicate directly with a specific group of people.
Dana, what kind of group versus page do you recommend for nonprofits to use?
I actually recommend the page. I think it's really, really easy to go ahead and maintain your official presence and really be the voice of your agency. Whereas in the group, it's kind of anybody can say anything, and there isn't really a control issue to that. When you are administrating a page, you are actually able to control the voice and the messaging of your group and cause, and that's really critical in today's world.
I also think that one of the differences between groups and pages is if you run a group, you have to be invited to participate in the group, right?
Yep.
So while your message can be more controlled on pages, it doesn't go as far as if it's in a group, right? So there's a few folks out there that I have looked at your Facebook page, and it is a group, and what you're really doing, unless you have like a specific event or you have content that you're scared of getting out to the general public, It makes that level of accessibility for folks to be able to come and like your page just a titch more difficult. So I just kind of wanted to touch base on that.
Absolutely, and actually, the page it's not conducive to online fundraising. The whole goal of being able to do this is to make it as easy as possible for people to give you money and to make you successful on this day of giving. So having the page is much more conducive to making that happen.
Great, thanks.
All right, so right now we're going to get into hashtags. For those of us who may be a little bit older, a hashtag is also known as a pound sign. It's just been repurposed a little bit for those digital natives out there. So hashtags are really helpful because they use that hashtag and then a special code like down on that second bullet point, MTGives, thank you post. What it does is it pulls that together and it actually creates a tag on that post that means that it groups it with all other like posts. So any post that has the hashtag MTGives will be grouped together. It doesn't matter what your organization is. If you click on that hashtag, it's actually going to hyperlink when you make that post live. So if you click on it, it's going to pull up every single post on Facebook that has that same hashtag MTGives. So it's really helpful to go ahead and make sure that you're tracking things, that you can see what other people are doing. You can go ahead and do it that way. It's really great. You can use multiple hashtags per post and stack it. So that's really helpful for a day of giving like this. I would maybe use, let's see, since I'm from Helena Food Share, we're going to say I would use hashtag MTGives, hashtag philanthropy, hashtag thank you, hashtag Helena Food Share. That's going to make sure that all of those tags are on that post and I can pull all like posts. It's really, really important. Put spaces between your hashtags, but do not put them in your hashtags. If I have a hashtag thank space you, the only thing that's actually going to be hyperlinked is thank. You will be totally hanging out there all by itself and it's a little bit lonely, so we don't want to do that. So now I'm actually going to show you the Anaconda Community Foundation's Facebook page really quickly. We're pulling it up.
I hope we've done everything right.
I'm sure you have, Gloria. Okay, Gloria, can you tell me on the slide, can you see your Facebook page right now?
Let me pop over. Yes.
Great. So I really, really love this post because you are counting down less than 1 month to Montana Gives. And I love the fact that,
You'll have to highlight it. They
oh,
can't see
gotcha.
your cursor.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
So-
I can't see our Facebook page on your screen. No, but
Oops, hang on. We're going to try and fix that real quick.
Okay, Gloria, you tell me when you can see it.
I feel like I'm getting an eye exam.
Okay, how about now?
I think I reloaded my page, which I probably shouldn't have. It's coming.
So it should be on your webinar conference call.
Yes, there it is. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I love right here that you're talking about less than one month away. I love the graphics, but what I really love in this section of the webinar is you have all of these stacked hashtags. So you've gone through, you're using the MTGives, Anaconda Gives, Anaconda Has Heart, Got Heart. That's really fantastic. It's a really great way to do that. And Jen, if you could click on the MTGives hashtag, I'm going to show you exactly how it goes ahead and it pulls up. Okay, so you see here, you've got all these public posts. You can see, go ahead and scroll down, you can see all of these different posts, and they're not all necessarily from,
cool.
Yeah, so they're not all necessarily from the Anaconda Community Foundation, but you're seeing all of these different groups and pages that have gone ahead and used that same hashtag. This is really fantastic. It goes ahead and it gives you more exposure. It creates more of a buzz about the cause. It's a really fantastic way to get people excited about what you're doing and make sure that you're part of that online conversation and community.
I have to give our dear Vista Test credit for those hashtags.
All right, so right now we're going to flip back over to the presentation real quick. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a hashtag fail. This is a pretty big one. If anybody remembers in the news, Ray Rice, very famous football player, was caught on security camera in a domestic violence situation with his then fiance in an elevator. That sparked a lot of conversation, and it actually sparked the start of the hashtag #WhyIStayed. This hashtag was used by survivors of domestic abuse to go ahead and explain why they stayed, because there was so much conversation about why is she staying, why is she putting up with this kind of behavior, that kind of thing. But if you go ahead and flip to the next slide, it shows, I ran a quick search on Twitter, which is a different medium, but you can see some of the tweets that were sent out using this hashtag. So talking about why I stayed. You know, because he managed to manipulate me into believing I did it to myself, those kinds of things. So it gave these people a voice, and it pulled them together and really helped them to rally behind a cause. Now, there's actually a really major brand. I'm sure everybody here has heard of it. If not, you must not be a pizza lover. But DiGiorno Pizza, somebody in their community engagement office went ahead and saw the hashtag, used it without realizing what it was all about. Hashtag #WhyIStayed, you had pizza. Pretty horrible. That's not something that you ever want to put yourself in the situation to be experiencing. DiGiorno has spent months apologizing over this. I'm pretty sure they probably have some new policies and procedures in place, and that person is probably not managing their Twitter account anymore. So, when you do your hashtags, you really want to be sure that you're checking them and making sure that they don't refer to any kind of communication or cause that is not actually something you want to be affiliated with, or that you misstep in any way. So there's this great website, hashtagify.me. You don't want to be DiGiorno. So go to a website like this, and we're going to pull it up real quick and show you kind of how it functions. So can you see that? Okay, so here we are at hashtagify.me, and it's basically a search engine for your hashtags. I went ahead and I plugged in #WhyIStayed up here in my search bar, and then what it did was it pulled up all of these different terms and the most common hashtags that it was associated with. So here you've got domestic abuse, DV for domestic violence. You've got Ray Rice, why I left. So you can really kind of check it out and see what things this is associated with. Also, if you go over here on this side of the screen, well, over here, top recent media, what happens is it pulls up all the recent media using that hashtag. So you can see how people are using it and why, which is really, really helpful. So if I type in, Jen, will you type in giving in that search bar, please? So we typed in giving. You can see this entire map here shifted. So now we've got quotes, we've got Christmas, we've got philanthropy, kindness, charity. So it'll actually go ahead and show you all of these really helpful things, and that's going to help you from avoiding. That's going to help you avoid being like DiGiorno, which is.
I had to type in I give local.
Oh yeah. Here we go. I give local.
And it's really important to remember that you don't have any spaces in your hashtags.
Great. So if you scroll down, you're going to see nonprofit, give big. I don't know why NYC is there, but it is. Give local 15, which is probably the hashtag that was used for 2015. The Great Give. So the way that you can impact this is by using hashtags on your posts. You can go ahead and create your own, but double check it first to make sure that you're not going to be DiGiorno. So right now we're going to talk about Facebook algorithms, which is all kinds of fun. So for anyone who is maybe not as familiar with this term, Facebook uses an advanced algorithm, which is basically a mathematical ranking system that's built into the code of the website. This controls how many organic views your post is going to have. Now, organic versus paid is kind of another story. We're going to get into that here in just a couple minutes. Organic is if you're not paying for people to see your posts. So because of those algorithms that are built into that site, approximately 10% of your page's followers are going to see any given Facebook post. Now, activity on your posts will definitely impact that and help it rise in the ranking system. So if you have a Facebook ambassador who is liking, sharing, and commenting on your post, that's going to raise it in the rankings so that more people are going to see it and so that you are actually able to touch more people. So Facebook wants you to do a couple of things to go ahead and make sure that more people are seeing your posts. They want you to boost your posts, and they want you to promote your Facebook page. Now, it's really important to note that these are both paid services through Facebook. So you're going to have to go ahead and enter your credit card number in there. It can be well worth investing in for specific campaigns. You don't have to invest a lot of money. It's not a $1,000 buy-in. You can do $1, you can do $5, you can do $10. It really just depends. The thing that I recommend is be really strategic about which posts you're going to go ahead and boost. And you can actually have a pretty major impact on the kind of traffic that your page is going to get and the kind of attention you want it to have. So, are you going to show them how, or? Yeah, I'm going to. I just need to. Let's go to the next page real quick, and then we're going to go to the next page real quick. I am all out of order. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Facebook Pages Manager app. So this is actually a really fantastic tool for those of you who are smartphone wizards. If you are really good at taking pictures and videos and sharing them on your phone, if you're really great with words, this is a great tool for you to have. If you're not comfortable with a smartphone, don't worry about it. This is nothing that you can't do from your desktop. But this is what it looks like. It's a little flag. You actually get to see a screenshot of my phone, which is something that nobody ever gets to see. But that little circle there, that's your manager app. It has a little orange flag on it. It's really helpful. So let me tell you the key to making sure that you're not going to post something work-related on your personal wall and you're not going to post something personal on your work-related wall is to make sure that you have that app if you're going to do this from your smartphone. You'll notice that you can see the Facebook app down on a different line of apps on my phone. That keeps me from having that oops, because I will be honest, it happens to everybody at some point. I did post something work-related on my personal wall the other day, and then I was like, oh, shoot, that is not what I wanted to do. Easy fix, but still. You really want to make sure that you keep that separate. That's really important for your organization, especially for this day. So again, it is free in the App Store, and that pro tip is using that Pages Manager app on your phone definitely helps you keep your personal and professional lives separate. Very important and very helpful. So your page insights are really fantastic. It's an easy way to go ahead and go in the back end of your Facebook page, see what your engagement with your audience is for any post on your page. It can also help inform how you're choosing to boost your posts and target audiences. This is really fantastic. I'm in here every day checking things out, especially when I have a big campaign coming up.
You want to go to?
Yeah. So we're going to go in and we're going to show you really quickly about boosting posts and checking your insights. All right. So this is the Helena Food Share Facebook page. You can see here that I've got some insights over here kind of on the side here. If I'm going to, if I'm going to go in and boost a post, let's see, I have this post from yesterday It's all about signing up for our weekly email updates. If I want to boost that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to click on this Boost Post button at the bottom of it, where next to 229 people reached. So I'm going to click on that. Again, this is something that impacts your credit card, so make sure that you have a budget set aside for what you want to go ahead and spend on this. Here you can actually choose your audience, people who like your page. You can do people who like your page and their friends, or you can do people who you choose through targeting, and those options are up here at the top. You can go ahead and choose your community at large. I have a specific set of audiences that I have gone ahead and created based on what's happening at Helena Food Share and how I want to boost those posts. I can go ahead and select the location of the folks that I want to be seeing this post. I want to keep it pretty local to people who I know are going to be supportive of me. It definitely doesn't make sense for me to be trying to reach out to people who are 60 plus miles away. I can also go ahead and choose the age of the folks who I want to go ahead and support me and who are going to be seeing this post. If you scroll down, here you can choose your total budget. So it actually tells you here what your estimated reach is. That's how many impressions spending this amount of money in a specific time period is going to get you with this campaign. So if I were going to spend $10, I would have approximately half at the lower end of the viewers that I would have if I were to spend $20. So you can go ahead and customize that. I've gone down as low as $3 and had a great deal of success with that. It all depends on who you're targeting and for how long. You can choose your duration, so you can do 1 day, 7 days, 14 days. These are default options. You can also go in here and click on the calendar. You can choose a specific date. So it's really, really helpful for a giving day like this. You can go ahead and schedule out a are you ready to make Montana a better place? Join us on May 3rd. You can go ahead and schedule that to run for a week and then go ahead and change it and boost a different post for the next week. So that's a really great way to go ahead and ensure that you're engaging that audience and making sure they see exactly what you want them to see when you want them to see it. You can go in and you can edit this at any time. It's really easy to do. You just come in here and you can change all of your options. You can go ahead, you can cancel a promotion early. You can go ahead and change to a different post to boost. So this is a really versatile tool, and it's really helpful. It really is. It makes a big difference for us. I'm going to cancel. Now if I want to go in and check my insights, I'm going to scroll back to the top of the page, and there's this great bar across the top here with all your options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Insights, and this takes me in so that I can see all of this specific information that breaks down how many people are seeing my posts, how many page likes we have, what kind of engagement our videos are getting, people who are viewing our page. We can even go in and see people. I'm going to click on that. This is a great tool to use if you want to see what your audience looks like. Here we have a breakdown of men versus women who like Helena Food Share. Clearly, my biggest groups who are liking our page are going to be females between 25 and 44. And that's a pretty huge chunk of our audience right there. So that means that I can go ahead and I can go in and edit my audience on that paid promotion to go ahead and make sure that I'm hitting these people. And it's pretty likely that the woman of the household is probably going to be controlling the checkbook. So this is not a bad place to go ahead and find that information so that you can go ahead and tailor who's going to be seeing your posts and try to see if you can go ahead and get those people to support you during Montana Gives. So if I go in here and I go to, where is that, posts, it's actually also going to show me peak times that people are going to be online. My followers are going to be online. So I can see, because a lot of these are women, they're going to be in here during these times. So I'm going to see a huge upswing starting at about 5 a.m. So 5 a.m., huge upswing. People are checking their Facebook before they go to work. And then it's kind of going to stay pretty steady throughout the day and then kind of peak in the evening at about 8 o'clock. So if I want to post something and I want to make sure that more people are going to see it, I might actually post something at about 9 a.m. so that those people are going to be seeing it kind of throughout the day and steadily liking, sharing, commenting. And then it'll continue to build in that algorithm and move up the rankings until I hit about this time. And then it's going to kind of peter off a little bit. So this is really helpful. You can kind of pick some of your times and check your what your audience is doing. So down here I can also see what's going on. I always will send out a Facebook post with a picture, and Katie's going to get more into that. But I can see that those pictures actually impact how people are engaging with my audience. So here I can see for this Unselfie Monday, that's a regular day for us in our social media schedule. 466 people saw that. And here I can see that my engagement, I had 9 people clicking on it, and I had 3 people react to it. But for even that small amount of engagement there, I had almost 500 views, which is really fantastic. You also have the option to go in here and boost posts from here. So you can go ahead and check that. So this is a really, really helpful tool for you if you want to become more social media savvy and figure out what you're doing and how to have the biggest impact on your audience.
They wouldn't let evaluators be in there.
So we're getting a couple of feedback. So if you could go ahead and push *6 and mute your phone, that'd be great.
I can't change if I'm recording to me because it won't let me do anything.
The conference has been muted.
Okay. So are you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm. So creating promotions is basically going in there and you're boosting your posts, but you can also promote your page. So if you go into kind of like the left-hand side of your console there when you log into your Facebook page, there will actually be a button that says Promote Page. That's something I wouldn't necessarily recommend leading up to Montana Gives unless you have a really small follower base. In that case, go toy around with that. The console is very similar to what you see for boosting posts. So you can go ahead and you can do the promotion there and go ahead and make sure that you're getting out to your community. And that's definitely going to help you have more success during Montana Gives because you're reaching more people if you get more likes on your page. Boosting posts, really quickly, again, it's a paid service. It increases your post ranking in the Facebook algorithm so that more of your audience will see it. That algorithm is kind of a tricky thing, and it's something that actually has just had to be speculated about outside of Facebook because nobody inside Facebook wants to talk about it.
The conference has been unmuted.
So this is kind of where I jump off, and you're going to get into Rubber Meets the Road with Katie here in a minute, but I wanted to give everybody the opportunity to ask questions. So go ahead and hit *7. *7
to unmute. You can also ask questions on that pop-out screen to the left. But as far as the technical components that Dana just went over, are there questions?
I know what you're talking about. How's that?
That wasn't a question.
That wasn't a question?
No.
Was that a question? So *7 to unmute your phone right now is one of the question and answer periods to ask about the technical components that Dana just went over.
I have no clue what you're talking about, really.
Okay, no questions. I can't see any new questions typed into the screen either.
Hello?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Hello? Can I ask a question?
Oh, I have a question. Yes, go for it.
This is concerning boosting. When you boost, are you reaching people that you haven't friends that haven't accepted you as their friend?
So I think the question, Dana, is when you boost, do you boost to an audience that you necessarily are not connected to on Facebook?
Can we go ahead and pull up the page really quickly again?
Can we donate for them? And, just to show support mostly.
Okay, so.
You have to go slower, too. We had comments that it was not loading quickly.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my page here.
we talked.
We're going to take a look at, oh great, our Throwback Thursday post went up.
Like that.
So I'm going to click on Boost Post here. Here, you can actually go ahead, you can choose that. I can do people who like my page. I can do people who like my page and their friends. Or I can do people who I choose through targeting. So it doesn't have to be just people who have liked my page. And we were kind of having a discussion about this yesterday. And there's going to be a difference probably between people you choose through targeting and people who like your page and their friends. So there are merits to either one, but I think for this Day of Giving, you might go ahead and toy around with them and see which one is going to be more effective for you. But people tend to hang out with like-minded people. And people who support your cause are probably going to be friends with people who support similar causes. So going ahead and picking people who like your page and their friends might actually be a pretty solid option for you.
It might depend, and I think Katie's going to get into this a little bit, but what your framing and your messaging is. Is it a broad-based call where you're trying to get people that are connected to your organization, or is it a more narrowly focused message where it's really going to people who already love you, who already donate, who already volunteer? So boosting your post might determine if you're looking for volunteers for a big community-wide event, you're probably going to do it to your already friends, right? Because you're not going to get a brand new volunteer through a Facebook post. But if it's a wider call, like, hey, did you know that we are doing this in the community? Or a likes campaign, or et cetera, building your audience, you'll want to toy with those targeting because those are people that wouldn't naturally be connected to you. Other questions for Dana? And then we're going to move along and talk about messaging and content.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can kind of hear you. Get a little bit louder.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, picked up my handset. This is kind of outside my box for doing this, so I'm green. Can we contact you just for some feedback if we're hitting an area that we're just kind of unsure of?
Absolutely. Please feel free. My contact information is definitely available back at the start of my section. Feel free to send me an email or give me a call. I'm more than happy to help answer whatever questions you might have. Okay.
I'm really excited about this, just coming in kind of late because I missed the initial training. But yeah, I'm really excited about what you're doing. I'm glad to see how we doubled in numbers. So this is going to be great.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that you're excited.
So yep. Okay. So support. It's like I can get through anything if I can talk to somebody. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
So we have some questions on the pop-out screen right now. Will this PowerPoint presentation be available for us to print so we can reference it later? I can certainly make all of the PowerPoint presentations available on that toolkit page on the website. And this is a great time to go ahead and just share that with you real quick and show you where you will be able to find that.
Thank you.
If you go to montanagives.org, and you go to the toolkits page, you mentioned having not been able to go onto the other webinars. Your other webinars have been recorded and provided for you right here. So your 101, creating your Montana Gives campaign, this one will be listed there. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and save these as a PDF so you can actually load them no matter what speed internet you have, right below these recordings. I'm going to go ahead and take this moment and talk to you about this is a great place. If you're just joining us, if you've just registered, take a look at this 8-week checklist. Some of the social media check marks that you'll want to be doing right now is on this checklist. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the Nonprofit Marketing and Communications Toolkit. If you're just joining us and this is your first webinar, I would direct you first here. This is going to give you a lot of the insights that Dana and Katie are talking about today, and also some copy, as in like content, post, press release, and it'll also give you the top 10 tips for engaging your audience on Facebook. I think we had one more question. Are there percent text or percent picture rules to boost your post? Actually, you can find that in that toolkit that I just showed you. but it is significant, and I think Katie's probably going to get into that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and give the floor to Katie. Go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and just mute the lines from here. If you have questions that come up, please use that white box to your left, and we will have a question answer period after Katie's finished.
The conference has been muted.
Ready to go?
Okay.
All right, so as Jen said, my name's Katie Gallagher, and I'm the marketing specialist here at the United Way in Helena. And I apologize if I start talking fast. It is a bad habit that I am trying to break. And I will address that percent text and percent picture rules because there are some rules that apply, but we can get into that a little bit later. So the first slide that I want to talk about is principles for success. So take a minute and think about why you go online, right? In your personal life, why do you go online? And there's really 3 reasons that people go online. People go online to connect with people, which is why Facebook, I forget how many, it's up in the billions, I think, people are on Facebook in the world. It's because they want to connect with other people. You go online to seek information. And then you go online, obviously, to be entertained. And so as we go through the content portion of this presentation, keep those 3 things in mind, because as you're developing your content and messages for Facebook, you want it to do one of these 3 things, if not many of these things, for every single post, because you want to meet your audience or the people that you're trying to reach where they're at and why they're seeking out information. And so some really basic strategies for developing your content, right? Dana talked about it, Jen talked about it. You want to be participatory. So Facebook is all about engagement. In marketing as a field, we've really gone from screaming at our audience and saying, hey, pay attention to us, you know, buy our product, donate to our organization, to a much more participatory two-way street. And so the goal is not to scream at people and say to donate to your organization. It's to engage them in your cause and engage them with what you're doing. Being authentic on your content posts. So I take that to being relatable. You don't want to be that organization on a hill, I guess, right? You want to be relatable in a way that your donors can understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Being resourceful. This is really important in the nonprofit sector, right? As Dana was talking about boosting posts and promoting your page, we all have finite resources. And so being resourceful in how you choose to use those resources, but also being resourceful in how you find content. I know at the United Way there are days where we are all just grinding out on our computer and we are not out in the community doing things. And it's really being able to take what you're doing at your organization to benefit the community and making the unremarkable remarkable, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then also being credible. So that goes back to what Dana was saying. It's your professional page. You know, the picture that your cousin posted of a cat dancing is awesome, and I'm sure you're entertained by it, but you want to be a credible source in your community. And so keeping those personal things out, whether they're political views or funny, entertaining things that have nothing to do with your organization, off of that professional page. And so again, the most successful strategy is to engage your audience. That is the most important thing you can do on Facebook because 1, you get people more vested in your organization, and 2, as Dana was sharing, the increased engagement that you have means the increased reach that your posts will ultimately have. So it's all about engaging people. And Jen, if you can switch over to the United Way's Facebook page, we are going to kind of describe what some ways for engagement are that I know Dana had touched on briefly. Getting it up on the page here. So this is the United Way's Facebook page, and I want to just do kind of content 101, right? We talk about posting, but what does posting actually mean? So posting is when you put something in this box that shows up on your feed, right? And whether you're sharing the content from another organization or you're creating your own, as we get into more detailed portions of the presentation, when I refer to posting, this is what it is. So engagement is when people like your post. So if I go down here to this video we created, right, you can like it. You can do all these different things actually now. You can like it, you can love it, you can hate it, I guess, or if you get angry about it, sad, you can be wowed. So there's all these different options that you can do now. But if you want engagement, you want people to react to your post, hopefully in the way that you want them to, right? You don't want somebody to get angry at your happy post. Another way that we talk about engagement is when people comment, right? So that's when people show up down here. You know, my boss said, "Thank you, Jessica, for being a star employee," right? Our office manager was in a video for us. So she engaged with my post. That's awesome. And then you can also share, right? So I could share this post if I was on a different page, to my own page. So that's what we're talking about when we say engagement, is people reacting in some way to the content that you're posting. And like Dana said, that maximizes your reach. So as we go through, we're going to refer back to posts very frequently. So can we go back, Jen, to the slideshow? Oh, you know, my personal page pops up a little bit there. So then on to posting basics, right? I really like things in 3s or 4s because they're easy to remember for me. And so thinking about why your audience is there, they want to be entertained, they want to get information, or they would like to connect with people, very important. Some other things to keep in mind for every single post is keep it short. Oh, see, Jen gave me the slow down sign. I'm going a little fast here. Keep it short, change it up. And when I say change it up, I mean content-wise, and we'll talk about that. I call it memes for days. I don't know if you guys are familiar with memes, but they're those images that have a fancy quote on it or something, and we all have that friend who just, their entire feed is full of the same thing, you know, and it's you don't like that, right? So stay away from that. Be consistent. So you want to change up the content, but you want to be consistent with your voice and personality. And this is a really fun exercise that you can do with other people in your organization or board members or volunteers, is talk about what is your organization's personality. Are you an organization that addresses a really, really serious topic and you want to be the authority on that issue? Then, you know, your Facebook posts probably aren't going to include a lot of exclamation points and things like that. And so talking to people that support you and that help you run your organization about what you want your personality to be online is a fun exercise, and it can help you remain consistent. And then, of course, you want it to be interesting. So make your posts engaging for folks. Do you want to go to the next slide? And as we were creating this presentation, you know, that last point of make it interesting, we all think different things are interesting. And so really trying to figure out who your audience is and keeping in mind who you want to engage with the post and what they will think is interesting is really important. And so some things that people like are opportunities for self-expression. We'll talk about that in more detail later. To answer questions and share their views. If you ask a question in your post, right, why do you give local? And then people can comment on why they give local. That increases your engagement, and people find that interesting. They want to share their views. Become educated on things that interest them. So maybe you are a organization that works with victims of domestic abuse and violence, right? And if that's something that your fans care about and find interesting, they might react to posts that you share about a newspaper article that addresses that topic. So people will go to your page to become educated, and then obviously entertained. If you have things that are entertaining, maybe a funny video that you can post that relates to your cause. I don't know if there's any animal organizations out there, but that might be the case where you can post a cute dog or cat video that makes people laugh, right? You want your page to be memorable. So opportunities for self-expression was the first bullet point on that last slide. But opportunities for self-expression is really important, especially for millennials. People between 25 and 40, which Dana shared, you know, that's her target audience, really like to show what they care about to their friends and their family. If you think about the Ice Bucket Challenge, I don't know if anybody is familiar with that. It went viral. The organization made millions, if not more dollars, based on that fundraiser. But that was an opportunity for people to show that they cared about the cause, or just join in with their friends in a cause that their friends cared about. And so people want to show that they're part of something bigger than themselves. So ways to do this is to use hashtags. Like Dana said, that will put you into a larger group of people that are advocating for the same causes. And then there's some words that you can use, right? Using words like we, build, collaborate, and together can bring people into your cause and into what you're doing. So those are some words that inspire action and inspire togetherness. So those are some ways that you can provide people opportunities for the self-expression that they're seeking. So when you make a post, how often should you do it, right? You don't want to overwhelm your customers, who are your donors in this case, with content on Facebook. So you want to be selective about what you're publishing. So going on and doing 10 posts all at once will absolutely overwhelm their news feed, and they'll probably tune out from what you're saying. So don't overwhelm your donors, but be selective in what you're publishing. So when they see it, they do want to engage with you, and we'll go into a bit more detail on that. So it's all about balance. So you want to plan posts, like Dana was saying. You know, she saw a Throwback Thursday, a hashtag Throwback Thursday, show up on her page, and she had scheduled that probably on Monday or earlier in the week to show up on Thursday. So she scheduled that post, and we'll show you how you can do that. However, you also want to be responsive, and so you don't want all your posts to be scheduled out because maybe something came up in your community. Maybe you were highlighted in the newspaper for the good work that you were doing. I know some communities have online newspapers, and so you can share that article and be responsive. You don't want to do that a week later when it's kind of old news in your community. Everybody's seen it, know what happened. So trying to be responsive and scheduling posts. So I'm going to show you really fast how to schedule a post because that's a great tool that makes it so you don't have to sit on Facebook all day long, right? You can schedule it out for the week ahead.
Page, and then we'll go and share it.
Uh-oh, here's my personal page here.
It's not online yet.
Oh. I can't see the, sorry.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Let me go back and share it.
Okay, just one moment. Sorry, guys.
Firefox. Okay, there.
Okay. So if everybody can see the United Ways page once again, we could create a post, right? So give local. Hashtag MTGives, right? Maybe this is a horrible post. Don't do this. But for sake of scheduling, so let's say this is the post and you want it to go out on Wednesday at 4 p.m. because you know that's when the most audience, your peak time for your folks. So you go right here to this Publish tab, and if you wanted it to go out immediately, you would just hit Publish, right? And it would be live on the web. But what you want to do is go to Schedule right here, and then if you scroll down here, you can choose when you want it to go out, right? So I want it to go out next Wednesday, the 13th, and I want it to go at 4:01, not a.m., that would be a horrible time to post, p.m., and then you just say schedule. So that means that at 4:01 p.m. on April 13th, your post is going to go out into the world. So many organizations will sit down on Monday morning and schedule a post every day out for the entire week. That's a great way to do it, but also keep in mind that if you see things that come up that would be great to share, to do it and be responsive to your audience. So can I
Go back
speak back to the slideshow?
Yeah.
And so that brings up the question, well, what is a good number of posts to do every day? And so we broke it down into 2 levels, right? At the most basic level, you should be engaging at least once per day. And again, engaging with liking, commenting, sharing, and posting. So creating and posting your own content, liking someone else's post, engaging with a stakeholder, and stakeholder being maybe a partner organization in your community, or sharing someone else's content. And so as you ramp up for this campaign, it's great to be posting all this Montana Gives information because that's the current campaign, but there's also ways that you want to be engaging to share the mission of your organization, because people need to be familiar with your organization, what you're doing, your successes and things like that, alongside the campaign that you're running. So I know a lot of you just started Facebook pages and it has a lot of MTGives content, and that's awesome. But to pique the interest of potential donors and grow your fan base, definitely posting information about what your organization does is important as well.
And I think from a donor perspective, remember that as we raise donors, we're raising partners with our organization first.
Yeah.
So as we're talking about content, we want folks to align and parallel with our organization, because we know then they'll support us as donors. And so pop out, this is a MTGives season, but what does your mission look like? What does your organization do? What are you asking people to give to? So make sure that you salt and pepper your content feed with what Katie's suggesting, and what does your mission do in your community? What would happen if you weren't in your community? Start engaging with your partners, and then they will become donors.
And so if you got level 1 down, right, you're doing something at least once a day. You got level 2, which you're still engaging once a day, right? You still need to be doing all these different things once a day. However, the last item, which is bolded on the bottom, is seeking out and sharing something directly related to your mission. And so back to the domestic abuse and violence example, your donors and supporters obviously care about that subject. And so if you take a little bit of time to find an interesting article or share an interesting report or find a statistic that they would find educational and interesting, that's another way that you can begin educating your donor base and bringing people into what you're doing in the community. So that's kind of level 2, is seeking out that additional information and being kind of novel, right? It wasn't found on somebody else's page. It was found maybe on a website, maybe on your website, and you share that page on your website with that information. So it's kind of going outside of the Facebook realm, finding something and bringing it to your Facebook page. And so, you know, you're engaging once a day, but when should you post, right? Let's say you're scheduling it out. Like Dana said, the best option is to go into your insights and find when the people that you're reaching are on Facebook. Again, it probably varies based on your audience. Like Dana said, if her target audience on Facebook is middle-aged women, they're getting up early and they're checking their Facebook before the kids are up and before they're getting them ready for school. And so if that's your target audience, post then. That's most logical for you. Other people might have target audiences that are more active during the daytime. So just find out when your audience is active. But since that one takes an existing audience to know, there are some basic rules. So research says people engage more on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. There's different research out there, right? I mean, there's different thoughts on this, but this is just a trend that people have seen toward the end of the week. And then between 1 and 4 p.m., and that was kind of how Dana's graph showed, was that wasn't her peak time, but there was definitely a lot of engagement. As we know, people are on Facebook at work, and so even though that is work hours, people are taking breaks. Yeah, none of us would ever do that. You know, in my office, it's funny, and it's probably the case in a lot of your offices too, is Facebook is open all day on my screen, and coworkers who don't, you know, do Facebook for our organization come in and kind of look at me like, what are you doing, Katie, right? But I have Facebook open all day long on my screen, and I'm engaging all day long. So if that's kind of something that's looked down upon at your organization, maybe explaining that that's how you're being responsive to your potential donors and to your supporters. So yep, between 1 and 4 p.m. So now we're going to get really into content. What should those posts say? As I said earlier, you know, it's great to boost, it's great to promote your page and use hashtags, but if you don't have good content, it's not going to matter. So really developing strong content is important. And your content is all about you being your organization. Well, it isn't all about you, but it kind of is. So again, you don't want to post things that are not relevant to your organization, but you don't want to make it all about you, right? You don't want to be tooting your own horn constantly. It's about this larger community that you're a part of, and it's about the cause that you're impacting. So an example here that I pulled is from Helena, and this is an example of an organization that is kind of tooting their own horn, but sharing something awesome, right? The Myrna Loy Center, it's the local independent movie theater here in Helena, and they just got selected for this humongous grant among all these different organizations across the country, and this is really, really important for their organization. So they pulled an article from the local newspaper and they posted it online and said, look at what our organization's doing, look what's in our future, don't you want to be a part of this? So that is all about them. But on the next slide, you'll see the exact same post, but Helena Youth Homes has shared that post and added their own commentary. So when you're sharing a post, it's really important to add your own spin on it, because naturally, why would Helena Youth Homes, a shelter for essentially children from 14 to 18 that don't have a home, why would they care about the Myrna Loy Center's accomplishment, right? They care because the Myrna Loy Center clearly works with them and provides opportunities for their kids living at the youth homes. And so you want to add your own spin and also show that you're a part of the community. So whenever you share something, don't just hit share. Add what it means to your organization and to your cause. So this is a situation where it is kind of about them, but it's also about the Myrna Loy Center. So now we get into the different types of posts, right? So you're ready to develop your content. So the most basic type of content would be just text, right? And we talked about it earlier. Just writing, like the one I did as an example, is pretty lame, right? Nobody's going to engage with it because they're going to read it, probably not be inspired by it, and move on. There is a time, you see this a lot in crisis communications, which is something we're absolutely not going to talk about today. There might be a time for it when you just need to get information out there. It's not fancy, you just need information out. But we really discourage you from just typing in text. So the next one, though, is one that we definitely encourage you to do, and this is where you provide an image plus text. And so most popular images tend to be unplanned, spontaneous in appearance, close-up and detailed photographs are better than faraway landscapes, and then always providing text alongside the image to provide that context, right? Just a picture of a child, somebody will see it, scan by it, say that's a cute kid, but they probably won't engage unless they understand how that kid relates to your organization. So can we go back really fast to the
slide or to your Facebook?
To the Facebook.
Really fast is kind of a misnomer.
Yeah, well, it takes a while here. So to add a picture, so we have our post here, right? No, which is kind of not interesting, but to make this interesting, we can add a photo. So you just go to photo/video, you click here, you say upload photos and videos, and it will take you onto your desktop, and then you can just select the photo that you want to upload. So you can do that. You can create a photo album or a carousel or a slideshow, right? So if you have multiple photos that you want to upload to the post, you can do that. So it's really simple to add a photo to your Facebook post, and that's definitely recommended. But if you go back, you always want to have that text here. And as a reminder, you'll see ours is the U.S. Bank building downtown Helena is our current picture. If you're managing multiple pages, you have your organization's page and your own, make sure that it is United Way of the Lewis and Clark area and not yourself on that post. So just always checking who's doing the posting is really important. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got to go super fast here. We have not much time left. Okay, so I'll skim over this one, but this goes back to the whether you want it to be close up and detailed or far away, right? Same event. We have a room full of people, that's not interesting, or we have 4 smiling faces which can be tagged and people can relate to us and our friends will like and share. Stock photos, a lot of us work in fields where we can't take photos of our clients, so using stock photos can be great, but if you have no other options, FoodShare and United Way use the same stock photos and our fans know it. So stay away from that if you can. Just some tips, right? Take pictures everywhere you go, create and distribute a media release form. Jen can provide a sample for that on the toolkit. Repurpose photos, and then turn the unremarkable into the remarkable, right? So a picture of you and your staff at a staff meeting can actually be turned into something interesting if you share with the community the great plans that you have. And people might be interested to know what you're going to be up to for the next month. So photos or videos, just like photos, are great, but you want to have diversity. You don't want all videos or all photos. So videos are great because they're multisensory, they're engaging, and they automatically play on your post. The deal with videos, though, is that we have a really, really short attention span. We're on Facebook, so an average video is 18 seconds, an average video view. So if you have a 20-minute video, no one's going to watch that. They will probably hang around for 18 seconds. So the shorter, the better when you're posting videos. So again, be short, be entertaining, be intimate, and make your own. And so that's kind of the moral of the story, is it doesn't have to be professional for people to be interested in it. Use your iPhone if you have an iPhone. We created one right out here on the Walking Mall in Helena a few minutes ago.
We'll post that to the Montana Community Foundation wall and share it with all of you.
So just do it on your phone, make it 20 seconds or less, and you'll probably get a lot of engagement, the same level that you would with an image. And so, again, Anaconda, you guys rock, or your AmeriCorps member is awesome. And so this is a great post, right? They're using the hashtags, like Dana said. They're using a close-up picture. People can recognize this individual and engage with her. And so this is really an effective post for Facebook. And you'll see they did get engagement. They got likes on the page. And so they had interesting content. They used hashtags, and they used a really effective image. So that's wrapping up my section. I'm sorry we went really fast through that last part. For uploading a video, it's very similar to the photo, right? You just go in back on the Facebook page where it says photo/video, and instead of uploading a photo, you upload your video just from the file that you get off of your cell phone. So
there have been some questions. Question for Katie: what does stop newsfeed distribution mean under the scheduled post? So remember when we were scheduling and there was an option of, do you remember seeing that? I saw that too, and I have no idea what that means.
I actually have never used that either myself. My assumption would be if you just want, if you put it up, so you put up a post and you schedule it for Wednesday, April 13th, and then you want to stop it at a certain point, right? So you want it to stop showing up on people's news feeds on a certain date or time. So let's say it's Montana Gives, and you schedule a post, but after May 3rd, you don't want people seeing your Montana Gives information. You could stop it from showing up on their news feed. And real fast to the question asked earlier about the text versus image, percentages on boosted posts. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it's your image can't have 70% or more of your image can't be text. So I've gotten stopped numerous times from boosting posts because I'll post a image that has a lot of text on it, and they say that's way too much text.
Right.
And so,
like it's not going to be effective. So they're not even going to let you do it.
Yeah, Facebook stops me from making stupid purchasing decisions. And so make sure that if you're boosting a post with an image, that it's mainly the image and not a ton of text. But they'll stop you before you spend the money.
There were a few questions about how to get to that toolkit page. And if you go to your Montana Gives, so MTGives, maybe put a dot in there, mtgives.org. It's going to take you to this page here. This toolkit's right at the top of the leaderboard here. You know, click on toolkits there, and here are all your toolkits here. That nonprofit marketing and communications toolkit is here. It's a 12-page, just really helpful hints. It gives you ideas for Facebook posts. It gives you copy for a press release. It gives you the Unselfie campaign. Your webinars are here. Additionally, as we're talking about Facebook, all of your profile pictures, we're going to get countdown memes going. But for instance, I would go ahead and pop this up on your news feed right now. Are you ready? We have 1 month to go. Interact with some text up there. There are profile pictures, cover photos for your nonprofit. All of this has been designed exactly to the pixels for Facebook. So feel free to keep or download all of that social media content down here. I'm going to go ahead and unmute the lines for questions. And I just wanted to remind you that there's a lot of stuff out on that
The conference has
toolkit,
been unmuted.
out on that toolkit page to email any of us today as you have questions. But we're going to go ahead and open that line for questions. Don't be shy. If you've muted your line, go ahead and push *7 to unmute your line so we can hear you chatting. Go ahead and feel free to use the box on the left. And we'd love to answer your questions. We're going to leave it open for a couple of minutes. If we don't hear anything.
I have pictures. Well, I submitted some pictures of the forklift.
Okay, any last call for questions? Is there a maximum number of posts per day is your first question. Katie, do you want to go ahead and answer that?
You know, my rule of thumb, and everybody has different, Dana might even have a different thought on it than I do. I try to do no more than 3 posts a day, right? And that's 3 content posts that I'm either sharing somebody else's post or I'm creating my own. And so maybe I'll do 1 of my own posts and share 2 more posts, but no more than 3. That doesn't limit your other types of engagement, right? I would say like away, comment away, engage in those ways, but I would say no more than on your feed 3 a day. Then that's how I personally do it. I don't know about you, Dana.
Yeah, I'm usually 1 to 2 per day, but there are certain days of the year where I will break all the rules and I will post maybe 8+ times. Usually that's a day when we're doing our big turkey drive for the year, but right before Thanksgiving. But making sure that I'm breaking those rules strategically and for very good reasons is really important. But other than that, day to day, it's going to be probably 1 to 2 posts.
I think the other thing that we kind of chatted about, ladies, is that we talked about when we pay for posts, when we pay for that boost. So Facebook is going to do the work for you in getting that boost into other people's news feeds. But what you don't want to do is cloud up your content by posting other things while you're trying to boost yourself.
Yeah, we talked about it with May 3rd, right? May 3rd might be that day that you break the rules because you want to get stuff out of, into people's news feeds. However, there's kind of 2 ways you can do it. One way you could do it would be to post a lot, right, and hope that it's getting out, hope that people are engaging. The second way to do it would be to invest some money and do a very, maybe a few killer posts, invest the money to boost it. And so you don't want to be doing 8 posts and boosting things at the same time. And so, if you have the funding, I would definitely suggest boosting some posts on May 3rd.
Or spending $20 this week and doing a huge range targeting so you get your likes on your page up so that you don't boost in all of the traffic, so you actually have your audience built for May 3rd.
Yeah, and Facebook, and back to the amounts, like we have a very, very small marketing budget at United Way, and I don't think I have ever boosted a post for more than $15. And it significantly impacts your reach. And so when you're thinking about putting ads in newspapers or on TV or radio, it's very costly. But Facebook is a really cost-effective way to get your message out there to an audience that's probably already listening or willing to listen. So
great. Other questions? There is a general question about May 3rd. To answer the question about how donations work on May 3rd, you are giving to specific charities on May 3rd. It is not an aggregate of the group. So this is one of the reasons that doing a training on Facebook is very important. You want to be able to reach your donors on May 3rd so they will donate to you. There are prize monies in there, and that's actually a great segue to our next seminar is April 28th. That is a week before May 3rd, and that will be how to access your donor links. All of the administrative technical components of what Montana Gives will be shared on that webinar. Until then, the 20 days that we have in between now, it's all about you, your organization, engaging with your donors, your Facebook audience, and making sure that people know that you are there, what you do for your community, and really creating a case for support. Are there any other questions out there?
I have one.
Oh, go ahead. We can barely hear you. Get closer to your phone.
Okay, on the booth, when you booth post, is that $15 a day or $15 like if you did it for a whole week?
Let's go ahead and repeat that question. The question was, when you boost a post and you pay for it, is that amount for the day or is it for the time period?
That's a great question, and you can actually go ahead and can we jump in there really quickly so I can just have a visual on that while we do it? Google Chrome, I think.
I think I might have closed it.
Okay.
And they don't charge you the full thing if you don't.
Oh, if mine's still up, I can just
I did a boost for my other job.
yeah. Okay. So when you go in there, yeah. So when you scroll down, it's going to say total budget. So that's the total amount that you're going to spend over whatever duration you have. Please be sure to always check that though, because I think I went to promote my page and I put in a budget of $15 and I didn't realize that it was like $15 per day. So I think under the promoting your page, you do have to be much more conscientious, but do check that because it'll say total budget. So when you click on that and you look down below, it has the duration of the campaign. And so I can go ahead and choose how long I want that duration to be, and it's going to divide up that $15 by that number of days. So it's only going to promote for so much money per day. And you'll get email notifications letting you know where you are in your budget.
Great. Other questions? I'm going to go back because that's how I can see it in the box. Okay, it looks like I have Katie and Dana's communication stats up there. Email Dana, email Katie, call. Of course, my office is always willing to answer any questions that you might have. We are so thankful that you've decided to join us today. Again, this webinar is going to be recorded. We'll have to compile it, pop it up into a YouTube format. It will probably be online tomorrow if you want to flip back. And I will put the PDFs of each of the slides up. Thank you. Have a great day. Good luck. My email is Jennifer with one NG at MTCF. If you have any questions about Montana Gives, please email me. We are still pumping through some registrations. We have 127 nonprofits that have decided to join on our page, but over 500 nonprofits in Montana will be participating on May 3rd. So thank you for stepping up to the plate and being one of those nonprofits. Best of luck, and let us know if you have questions. Thanks all.